Rock Sugar Magic is brought to you by Florida Boy Inc. If you like Duck Dynasty or Swamp People, you'll love what Florida Boy has cooking up. It's Florida Boy INC, Florida Boy Inc. on Instagram. Head over there and tell them we sent you. Jack Osbourne.
Hello.
Thank you for finally accepting my invite to be on my podcast.
Hey, we made it happen. It took a long time, but we got there.
Finally. You've actually been on, I think, almost every podcast I've ever done.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because you remember when you came into the Nikki Sixx studio?
Yeah, it's actually near my house now, but in
Sherman Oaks.
Sherman Oaks, yeah.
Exactly. So you came in there and you did a show with me and my friend Ashley. We had that show for years and years, that podcast. And then I can't remember if you were on my first podcast. Ashley and I did, I don't know. Did you ever come into an apartment with me and do a podcast? I can't remember, but I know we've done a few shows together.
We've done a few.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Because I mean, it's been a minute since I've seen you. It's been
years.
God, years. Yeah. We've spoken, but yeah.
Last time I saw you, I think you picked me up and threw me in a bush.
Did I?
Yeah.
Why did I do that?
We were outside of that little restaurant. It's on like Beverly. It's a diner. And it was me and Jason and Liam, and then you just picked me up and threw me in a bush.
Swingers.
Swingers.
Yeah. That was the spot back in the day.
That was like the last time we hung out.
That was like a million years ago.
That was so long ago.
Yeah.
Forever long ago. Yeah.
Pushing 15 years must have been.
More. No. It was early 2000s, I think.
Yeah.
But no, maybe when you threw me in a bush, it was pushing 15, 16 years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
That was so funny, though. We were laughing so hard. That was good times. It was always fun with you. Always fun hanging.
Yeah, we always had a good time. We had a good crew back then.
We did.
Yeah.
It was a good crew.
Yeah.
But now you've got like 4 beautiful girls.
I do. I have lots of female humans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have a million TV shows and podcasts and things you're doing, which I love. That's like me too. I always have to have multiple things going.
Sure.
Yeah.
We kind of have to now. It's like there's
exactly.
Gone are the days of having that like one steady job in entertainment.
True.
You just have to, you gotta scattergun it.
It's true. But in radio, for me, I've always had 2 or 3 shows. Always. You never know when one is going to go.
Sure.
So for that, but for TV, it was always like, oh, you get the one show. It's nice. It's cushy. You get to go in and do your thing or read your teleprompter and come out and make a good paycheck. And no, that's not happening anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you revived the Osbournes podcast.
Yes, we have. Yes.
I mean, kind of, it's not the show, but it's still on camera.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. For the longest time, everyone's like, "Oh, you guys are gonna ever do the show again?" It would never work the way it used to. Yeah. And so I kind of figured a podcast would be the next closest thing you could ever really get to what the show was, just because of the unproduced nature of it.
Yeah.
All reality TV now is so produced, so beat it out. Like a network has to approve of everything you're going to film. And the only way to do that is to script everything.
Yeah, no, it's true. And I always can tell. And so I just don't watch it anymore because it's just not, it's not reality.
No.
It's not. It's produced by a producer and it's BS and I watch it and I can feel it and I know it. I've been in that world, so.
Yeah. Even shows that don't need to be produced have now been, like, I love 90 Day Fiancé. That was like me and my wife, like that's like our show. And it's so produced now. You're just like, these stories are so crazy anyway. You don't need to make it a dumb but they do.
What about, I just got into this and I can't believe I did. And my boyfriend is addicted. It's called Love Island.
Yes. So I was familiar with Love Island in England years and years ago. The host who passed away was one of my really, really close friends.
Oh.
Yeah. But that's a great show.
It's the first time I'm watching it and it's so good. I guess it was in the UK and then they had a USA one and now there's a new USA one. Mm-hmm. And it's supposed to be, I guess, like the UK one.
More.
Yeah, a little more like that. They use the terms. Okay, so Saturday, I'm in Las Vegas, and there's so much stuff to do, and people we can see, and this and that. And we get up, and I'm like, what are we going to do today? Let's do something fun. And my boyfriend says, what if we go get coffees and get back in bed and watch Love Island? And I'm like, if you
You're
knew
like,
him.
Okay.
I was like, he's like, I can't believe you got me into the show. I can't. He's in the studio. He makes music. He's like, let's go do stuff. Let's, and he's in bed with me on a Saturday watching Love Island. And every night we watch, it's like crack. We watch 2 or 3 episodes. It is so good. I mean,
listen, you want to talk train wreck TV.
Oh
like
my gosh.
That's it perfectly.
Yeah. But what's so different about, I guess, this, because I keep saying this to people, and I'm like, that's not how it usually is. All the girls are very supportive of one another.
Oh, interesting.
Very. Like, even if they take each other's guys or whatever, they talk about it. And they're like, yes, I did say that about you. And I'm sorry. I apologize. And she's like, I'm still mad. I go, I totally understand where you're coming from. And I would be too. And then they hung it out. I'm like, what is this?
Whoa, weird.
What?
I wonder. Okay, so I'm wondering if, from a producer standpoint, they're doing it that way because there have been so many deaths associated with Love Island.
No, what?
Oh, you don't know about this?
No, I literally just got into the show. I'm talking like a week and a half ago.
Okay, there's a lot of tragedy around Love Island. People, suicides, and it's pretty bad.
I had no idea.
Yeah. So I think maybe, creatively, they were like, we need to soften this a bit and not have it be so vicious.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I had no idea. And I'm wondering why everybody's so... And the guys are, like, crying and hugging each other, man.
They bring a therapist in.
Yeah,
he kind of mediates.
It's the weirdest thing. I'm like, why are they all so lovey-dovey? And even the guys, when the girls' feelings get hurt by other guys, are coming over and, like, trying to fix it between them. And like, what? This is such a lovely place.
Weird. I mean, I think it's probably better for everyone's mental health watching and participating, but yeah.
Oh, I had no idea. Okay.
Yeah.
I could talk about Love Island all day. Want to talk about your 50 shows.
Well, I don't have any now. I mean, they're still on TV. They're still on the platform.
Yeah, but you just did. I mean, how long ago did you do the Fox show with the...
Oh, that was... We were filming exactly we finished a year ago, and then it aired in the fall.
Same. I'm on a show now it's called Surviving Man. Okay. It's with Don Mann, who's part of SEAL Team 6 and the Navy SEALs. And even though I was kind of the co-host, I still did some of these, like the scuba diving with sharks and the crazy, 10-minute planks. And I tried. Not that... the people that are on the show are super fit. They're either military or they're fitness people or whatever. I couldn't keep up in any way, but I had a blast doing it.
It was, yeah. It's fun when you get stuck in like that.
Yeah, and like you, I'm a super daredevil.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, super. And I remember you got a show with all the, going around the world and doing crazy things. I was so jealous.
Adrenaline junkie.
Yes, yeah. I was so jealous.
That was the best job ever. It was such a thing of I always joke now that you see all those Instagram douchebags that are just running around doing crazy shit.
Yeah.
That's what I did, but got to make TV out of it.
Yeah. I mean, you were climbing mountains. You were jumping out of things. You were, everything that I wanted to do.
Don't you skydive?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I remember we spoke about that a bunch.
Yeah, that we were going to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did. Yeah. My license is lapsed and all that.
I just got my license back, and I'll tell you something I'm really upset about. My logbook is gone, and I have almost 300 jumps. I had 287 jumps or something like that.
I lost my logbook as well.
But you know what the Drop Zone did to me? They switched over from analog to digital and didn't keep any of the paper. They're supposed to keep your jumps.
Yeah.
So I had 25. I'm like, what? So I went back, and so I still have my license.
You had to start from zero.
No, they said that they would allow somebody, I jumped with a professional.
Okay.
So if they sign off my book, if they sign off that they've done this many jumps or whatever, that they'd give me that. But I wanted to do a halo jump. Okay. And you have to have, what is it, a D license or something?
Sure, yeah.
And so I could have, because I had over 250 jumps. And now I'm...
Well, if you... one of my very best friends is a instructor now. And he's always we'll get you current, we'll get you all dialed in, just come for a weekend. And he's actually an instructor, and he lives in Dubai most of the year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right.
I'm
Well,
serious.
I mean, he'll come out here and like he
Let's
comes
go.
home every now and then. But yeah,
But Dubai would be fun to jump in.
it
That would be over at the islands,
and
you
it's
know?
the perfect climate for you right
it's so
now. Just
yeah.
125 degrees, and you know,
Like happiness.
right? Just a cool day for you.
Because when you jump out at like, what, 10, 12,000, it's freezing.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it would be warmer. Maybe still cold at that point. But.
Yeah, I wonder actually. It's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, I've jumped. I got my license in Spain, and it was the middle of summer, and it wasn't freezing when they opened up the door. I think we were jumping like 13,500 feet.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever jumped though where you've had to have oxygen on before?
That's the halo jump. That's what I wanted to do.
But you jump with oxygen with Halo. But I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like, as you're in the plane.
No, I've never gone.
Yeah.
I think 14 was the most we've
Okay.
done. Maybe 15. You get a little extra.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah, I
'cause-
did a jump in New Zealand one time, and they were like, "Oh, you got to put your oxygen on right now," and I was like, "Why?" They're like, "Oh, it's just because of the elevation we were at.
Right.
We were, yeah."
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. There's a drop zone out here, Paris,
Mm-hmm.
and this is so long. I'm talking 90s when I got my license. So
wow.
yeah. So if there was a girl on board and she flashed, they would take you a couple thousand feet up. More.
Wow.
Yeah. So you're
I feel like in today's,
No,
the
you wouldn't.
age that we're in now, like
No.
like
That wouldn't
someone would
happen.
there'd be a new owner of Paris.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I remember that the girls would flash, and we would get a little more, time, because the higher you go, for people that don't know this, you have a longer drop, and so that was always fun if there was a girl willing to do that.
Man, it just feels so wrong.
It's like the Me Too would be shut
Yeah,
down.
oh yeah, right.
So done.
Me Too hit skydiving.
Yeah, exactly. The Ghost podcast, that's happening still.
Yes.
So Ghosts and Grits.
Yeah, Ghosts and Grit. We are still trucking along. We kind of batch shoot them, so we'll do like 8 to 10 episodes, over a week, and then release them slowly. But we're gonna start mixing up a bit more adventure stuff in there. We're gonna do some. We're kind of using the podcast to create some digital content around it. So we'll have the podcast and then other stuff like investigation. We'll do ghost investigations and maybe some skydiving, whatever. Mix it up.
Oh my gosh. If you go skydiving, you have to take me.
Okay.
I did go try and get current, and every time I went out there, and I should have gone to Paris, but I went somewhere else. I'm not going to say where. And they only have like one plane going, and I drove all the way out there 2 hours, and I told them I was coming from where I was coming, and they're like, well, we have other people in front of you. I'm like, but I told you I made a reservation. I stayed there for 4 hours, and then the cloud ceiling came down too low, and I couldn't get it. I had one jump left to do to go current.
Yeah.
So I still have to do that. I wonder if they'd let me. That was last year. I don't know if they'd let me. But so if you go, I'm going with you.
Okay.
One sec. I'm leaning forward. I'm not going out of frame, right?
No,
This
you're
far?
good.
For sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm watching it. I'm going to use that to turn on the air.
Okay.
Oh.
Give 'em a little tip.
We're going to freeze now.
Keep us on our toes. We'll get you a heated blanket just in case.
My boyfriend actually got me one for Christmas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's how. But I'm much better ever since I recovered from Lyme and then hit menopause. Now I'm warmer.
Just you're living your best life right now.
Can we talk about health too?
Sure.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
Yeah.
All right. Then we'll go back to, I wanted the ghost thing real quick. Okay, so doing the show, you've done a few haunted shows.
Yes. A few.
Yeah. What's the scariest thing that you've ever seen or that has happened to you?
So aside from the thing that happened to my mom, where she like passed out, and it was like this whole very it wasn't even passed out. It was like she just was unresponsive. It was this very, very strange thing, which, I actually last week I talked about it on the podcast, but we, she was in hospital for like 2 days. They ran every test, and they were like, "There's nothing wrong with her." And every new doctor that would come in, I'd be like, "Look at this footage," and they would just kind of completely admit, they were like, "I've never seen anything like that." The only thing that a doctor came up with was, we think it was some kind of narcoleptic episode.
Oh, please.
So she just fell asleep.
Please,
I was like,
please,
wait. I was
no,
like, when people
no.
fall asleep, they don't normally stop breathing. It was a whole, anyway.
That's paranormal stuff.
Yeah, it was very odd.
Yeah.
It was very odd. So besides that, I've seen things. I've had like doors fly open in front of me. I've seen objects move, heard voices. I've had, it kind of runs the gambit of every kind of ghost cliche, but I've experienced it.
Yeah.
And the way I kind of, not everyone is crazy. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm not totally crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and the amazing thing is when you have something that everyone in the room experiences the same way, you're like, okay, this is like a thing. And so that's always been good when, making TV out of it.
Yeah. Do you ever come across people who don't believe in ghosts?
All the time.
How? That's just one thing I don't like. I guess there are people who believe that when you die, you're just dust.
Yes. The lights go out. Yeah. I don't. Yeah, but here's where I go. The more I've done this, the longer I've done this, the more I think that it's not what we think it is.
What do you think it is?
Man, I have like 4 or 5 things that I lean into that I'm like, okay, is it this? Is it that? Obviously the first is, all right, maybe we are encountering the once living consciousness of a human that is in some kind of in between, whatever. So
Yeah.
there's that, a ghost, a traditional type ghost. One theory is that maybe we're encountering some unknown, undetected energy spectrum that is causing hallucinations. So if you think about like radiation 500 years ago, right? If you handed someone a glowing rock and then all of a sudden they die of cancer, everyone's like, it's a demon rock.
Sure.
They don't understand it.
Sure.
So is there some energy spectrum out there that we just have no ability to detect, but it is causing hallucinations?
Okay.
So there's that. There's one.
But why? But then what? Some people get the same exact hallucinations over and over again.
Well, that's where it kind of goes. All right. Well, maybe not.
Yeah, because there are houses where you hear the same children running. You hear the same, whatever it may be, sounds, footsteps. So it would have to be a hallucination that everybody's experiencing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's kind of where I go. Well, I don't know.
Okay.
There's the concept of, and it kind of leads towards the one I was just talking about, where it's like building toxicity. Mold.
Okay.
Psilocybin mushrooms are a type of mold like that. They give you hallucinations. Is long-term exposure to certain household molds, are they giving so and then we get into like, all right, are we experiencing a different timeline?
Yeah.
So is it not a ghost, but it's just someone's, it's 1820,
right, a different time track.
Yeah. And we're just crossing.
Yeah.
And then I get into something that I'm starting to lean more towards now, is that I just think we're either in a simulation or it's some kind of glitch in our reality.
Do you believe, though, if you left your body that do you believe in that? Do you believe
sure. Oh, yeah. No, I believe there is something next.
Yeah. So where does that, they say when you die, you lose 21 grams. Mm-hmm. And that's the weight of the soul. Yeah. So where to me, I believe in reincarnation. I have forever. Mm-hmm. But let's say you don't reincarnate into a body. Where are you going? Where do you if you believe in heaven, you can't take your body with you.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. So, and if there's people that don't want to go away from the physical world and want to stay around, couldn't that be them saying, "Hey, I'm here. I'm here."
Yeah, I think but that's where we get into multiverse theory, right? Like, is it just right now our consciousness is vibrating on this energy? When our meat suit dies, it then just starts vibrating on a different frequency.
My meat puppet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I call it. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's all this is a meat suit. Well, and the older I get, the more I'm realizing like we are not our physical self. Yeah. Because if I am my physical being, I should be able to tell you exactly what my spleen is doing right now.
Sure.
I should be able to control that. I should be able to, I want to increase my heart rate right now to, 75 beats a minute.
You can, though. There are people who can do that stuff. Right. But yeah, it's not innate. It's not native. It's not like, we can go ahead and just do that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think that there is more. I think some animals are a little more that's just them. Like that is just what their energetic journey is. But I do think there is more to life than just these however many years we have here.
Me too. Yeah. I totally agree with that.
Because I've seen too many. It's like there's something. There's absolutely something. It's and it might not be anything that I've said, but there is something.
I agree with you 100%. Moving on to one of your other shows, like you're doing what?
No, I was like, oh, the couch is wiggling.
Yeah,
like, oh,
it's your daughter sitting next to you. It's Minnie.
I thought it was a little earthquake.
She's so cute. She's so cute, you guys. She's just like this little rocker hair. What'd you call it? What hair? With the Dumb and Dumber hair?
She looks like Harry from Dumb and Dumber.
I think it's like crazy blonde hair. the little bangs.
I'm gonna get her a puppy truck.
So cute. So cute. Like everything that you've done, I don't know if it's everything you've wanted. Is there something that on your bucket list that you haven't done yet?
I want to learn to fly.
You should.
Yeah. I'm gonna get my pilot's license eventually.
You should.
Yeah. I really want to. Yes, there's that. There's
what, helicopter? So I learned to fly helicopter.
Oh, cool.
2 years ago. So I took lessons and I was flying 5 to 6 days a week.
Wow.
Yeah. So I can fly a helicopter.
That's awesome.
But I have not been able to get through my test. So I'm like, I have to study.
The ground school test?
Ground school.
Okay, so there is a flight school in Van Nuys that every quarter they do a 6-week ground school intensive.
Which one is that? Because I'm at Orbic, which I love. Unfortunately, one of my instructors, my first instructor, passed away.
No.
He got into an accident.
Flying?
Yeah, helicopter.
Oof. I mean, helicopters are dangerous.
Yeah, but it was I don't want to go into what, but it was. Yeah, I mean, it was. It was amazing. He was a young guy, such a good man. And like when you're literally learning to fly a helicopter, you could kill yourself so easily. It's not like flying an airplane, where there's a lot of give and there's forgiving. Helicopters are not that way.
Yeah.
If I wouldn't have had him, I would have killed myself several times. So you grow very like this bond, and then they give you like by allowing you to almost kill them, they give you a confidence that you don't know you've ever had.
Wow.
And I can fly a helicopter, which is to say that it's probably one of the biggest accomplishments of my life.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. You should do it.
Yeah.
It's the coolest thing ever.
So I bought a ranch and in another state, and it has a landing strip on it and an airplane hangar.
Oh, that's so awesome.
And so I'm like, okay, I have to. Like,
yes.
I have the driveway and the parking garage for it. Like, I need to utilize it.
You have to. Do you know what airplane you want?
Okay, so my dream airplane. Yeah. It's called a Kodiak 100.
Okay. Yeah, I know Kodiak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like that's my pie in the sky.
What you want.
Yeah. Like, I just needed an extra $2 million for it, but
that's not that much for an airplane.
No.
I know that's crazy, but it's not that much. You can get really cheap ones. So I had an ex-boyfriend who flew an RV4, and that was a kit plane. So you put it together in your garage.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. But we flew that thing everywhere.
Really?
Until the engine went out. And we were flying over Palmdale. I'm not kidding you. Engine totally goes out. And it's one of those like where you have a like, oh my gosh, what's it called? And I'm blanking on it. But you're sitting. It's like a jet that you're sitting one in back of another.
Oh, okay.
But it's not a jet. It was a prop plane.
Okay.
And then you have a canopy, right? And you can see out completely. And Troy is sitting right in front of me, and we've been flying this thing for years, and all of a sudden the prop stops just completely. And so you always want to go, like, you always want to know, like, what would happen to you if something, like, catastrophic happened? Like, how would you act? Completely calm.
Wow.
Just was like, oh, okay.
Where'd you put it? Was there an airport nearby?
No. So we're over sand, which would have killed us if we would not have found because when you're flying a helicopter or a small plane with one engine and you don't have a second engine to get you somewhere, you always follow a road.
Yeah.
Not Troy. So, and after this, he did. But we're flying over sand, and, he's trying to start the thing. There's a flop tube that goes from one, gas tank to the next, and that, trying to get that going. Nothing's happening. Total stalled out.
no.
He had 11 pilot's licenses, including a glider pilot. So I just hear him make the Mayday call, and he doesn't even need to say anything. We're just looking for places to land. And I'm like, Troy, do you see anything? And he's like, I think straight ahead. And I go, that looks like an aqueduct. We're totally calm. Flying this plane without an engine. The thing is staying up on thermals.
Okay.
The plane doesn't land. I'm up in the sky still. We spot a place where we can land. And I go, Troy, I'd fly with you anytime, anywhere. And to say he remembers that, he's like, I cannot believe you said that before we got the plane down. I felt totally fine.
Wow.
Landed the plane like there was an engine. It was a perfect landing, except there was a truck coming at us. And this is the plane. We went literally right above the truck and landed. And the guy turns the truck like this, literally is in shock. He's in overalls. And we pop the canopy open and we're looking and he goes, did I see that? Did I see that? And he's just like standing there like it was a movie. And we get out of this thing and I hit the ground and I almost buckled. The adrenaline that you don't realize you have made my legs like shaking. I was shaking. Yeah. But I knew that I would be calm. So if there is I would assume that's how I would act, completely calm.
Yeah.
And so has that happened to you where you were in something super dangerous and you're like,
oh yeah. I have a weird thing. When there's something very intense, very dangerous, very chaotic, I get very focused.
Yeah.
It's odd.
Yeah.
It's probably just some weird, childhood traumatic response, but it's but in intense scenarios I tend to focus, although I've never been in like a near plane crash, thank God, touch wood. But I mean, were you thinking at any point like, oh,
I actually didn't think anything was going to happen to us, which is very weird. My mind went to, we're fine, we're okay. And I know some people, they can switch and they go into hysterics. And some people, like, in crazy situations, but I've been around a lot of death, too, because I do disaster relief work and everything, and there's nothing that ever rattles me. And it's interesting, the response that we have to things that could kill you or that are dangerous, or it's complete calmness.
Sure.
Yeah. It's interesting that you have that, too.
Yeah.
I think people who like those extreme sports and who like to do, maybe because we don't have that response, it gives you kind of that flight or fight kind of scary feeling.
Yeah. Well, and I think too with doing adrenaline type activities, you train yourself how to. Well, you have to focus through the adrenaline, and normal people that don't do that, when they have a crazy adrenaline spike, they don't know how to focus it. Like if I'm climbing or skydiving or whatever, I have to keep doing what I'm doing in order to get down, or finish, accomplish what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And I can't let the adrenaline take over, because at that point
you'll die.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll die. Did you see Free Solo?
I have, yeah.
Oh my gosh. I literally, you can hear the psh in the background. Like, did you see it too?
Yeah, it's insane.
Did you see The Alpinist?
No.
Okay, go watch The Alpinist.
Okay.
Okay, so it was, think free soloing, but a guy that does that mountaineering and ice climbing.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Though with the pics.
Yes.
I've seen that. I've seen the guy's picture, like where he's hanging on the pic and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that. Also the guy, Spider-Man, that would climb all the buildings.
The buildings, yeah, the French guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, what happened to him?
Did he die?
I don't know.
One of them died. There was one guy doing buildings that died, but I don't know if it was Spider-Man.
There was, I think, a guy in China who would do it.
Okay.
And I think he died. I saw something online recently about that. But buildering is just, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
No.
No.
But that one crack in Free Solo where he was on the rope several times and didn't make it. And you're like, oh.
Did you ever have you seen The Dawn Wall?
No, but I have heard of that.
I actually think it's a better film than Free Solo.
Really?
I do. Yeah, everyone's always like, oh, you're crazy. But I'm like, no, I think the story, I just think it's a better story.
Okay.
I mean, I think.
But don't they climb together, those two?
Alex Honnold. They are
climb
friends.
together. Yeah,
Yes.
that's how I knew about that film, because I saw other films in this category.
Yeah.
So okay, I'll watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
And The Alpinist.
Yes.
Okay, I got to watch that. Yeah. Okay, so literally because you do, I never read guests like resume. I literally don't because I can just go off the top of my head because I don't do as much as you do. And I love you guests. But okay, you've got the Ghosts and Grits. You've got the Osbourne podcast back on. You literally, Haunted Highway. Mm-hmm. You've done A&E's world tour with Ozzy and Jack. Mm-hmm. Portals to Hell. That's what it is. Okay, you're on your third season.
They canceled us after 3 seasons.
Okay, so
that was a great. I love doing that show. Katrina's awesome.
I mean, Nat Geo. You've done. Alpha Wild Dog, Surviving the Eclipse. Various pilots. You're doing all this stuff. Did the Special Forces World's Toughest Test. Jack Osbourne's Night of Terror on the Travel Channel. And then you run a whole media, like you're the Osbourne media, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Got a lot, It's like I said, you got to have a lot of irons in the fire these days.
That's a lot of irons in the fire. Yeah. And what's been your most favorite thing?
My most favorite thing. I love doing World Detour with my dad.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. I wish I could have been in it like mentally a little more. There was a lot of stuff going on, like home life, and it was just really I was taken out of it a lot mentally and spiritually, but I still had the best time. It was like such the dream. Like, I mean, even to this day, my dad's like, "Oh, I wish we could go do that again."
Oh.
But it was great to have that experience with him.
Yeah.
And it was it was just cool to be in like my early 30s and just kind of road tripping and doing a bunch of weird, wacky stuff with him. I loved it.
And you'll have that forever on, so you want to go back to it, you can.
Sure,
And I love that.
Yeah.
There's only a few things I got to do with my dad.
Yeah.
And I cherish them. And there was one photo shoot we got to do, and I have all those pictures.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Did he like did he support you going into radio and?
Yeah. He wanted me to get my education first. It was always very important to him, that we were all educated. I dropped out after a few years and I have my AA, but I was like, I'm not into this. I didn't like school. And, but he always supported me in whatever I wanted to do. He was always 100% behind me. So yeah, I think there were some things he wished I didn't do, but like when I got a motorcycle, he was very happy.
You still riding?
That. I haven't ridden in a while. I probably rode the last time I was over a year ago. I still have the same bike. Wait, do you have a bike? Are you riding?
No, I got rid of my bikes.
With the kids?
Yeah, right when my daughter was born, because I got diagnosed with MS 3 weeks later, and I was like,
maybe not.
Yeah, maybe, and we'll hang that helmet up.
Yeah.
But I miss it. I loved it.
You should get a group that's safe. Like when you ride in a group, you get a group together, you go on Sunday.
Yeah.
That's the safest way to ride. And I'm looking for a group because I did have one. I had a great group, and now it's been years and it's disbanded, and I don't, people have moved. But yeah, so
I'm gonna get dirt bikes for my ranch. That might be my kind of how I can itch that, scratch that
replacement.
itch.
Yeah, exactly. And dirt bikes are so much fun.
Oh, so much fun. It's a little more forgiving when you eat shit.
A lot. I've eaten shit on a dirt bike several times, and I've never had a problem. Yeah, I've eaten shit a couple times on a street bike, but not going very fast. It was when I started to learn, and it was like a U-turn. But we had frame sliders, and it didn't screw the bike up too much. But I think I broke my fingernails or little things, hurt my elbow, but nothing horrible.
I went down once. It wasn't terrible. It was a little banged up, and the bike needed some repair, but it wasn't terrible. And then I nearly like had one of those, and every motorcycle rider has this, but it's that, oh, I'm about to die moment.
Yeah. I had a couple of those.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to get T-boned.
Yes.
And I didn't. Thank God. It's almost like definitely have angels watching out, because there's been a couple times where I can't believe I didn't get hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good. We're alive.
We're alive, right?
We're good. Talking about your health, I battled Lyme disease for 11 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And I had no idea, but in 2007, I got it, and it was not through a tick bite. It was through a tetanus shot. And
through a tetanus shot?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought my health I got a tetanus shot and went downhill. I didn't know what from. I couldn't until I went back to where I was put in the hospital after a shot. Mm-hmm. And then I talked to a virologist, and an epidemiologist, and they said, yeah, there's Lyme and tetanus.
Wow.
Yeah, now we're banned. So, guys, my last show. I really enjoyed you guys.
The van is gonna pull up.
There
and
we
just,
go.
You know,
I'm like,
bag over your head. And
yeah,
you're gonna
exactly.
get sent to the gulag.
And like, I mean, I literally had been vaccine injured, and I talked about it. Not saying don't get a vaccine, nothing.
Yeah.
I just talked about me being vaccine injured, and they shut down my entire Facebook, wiped my WhatsApp. I'm like,
shut up.
No.
They
And then
wiped your WhatsApp?
Wiped it. Wiped, because I was sending videos to Australia, and then it was like all of a sudden went on, gone. Not from years of having WhatsApp, gone. So I will not get back on that app.
Here's what I find really interesting about anyone that says anything about, oh, great, that's my favorite book.
Really?
Yeah, Ready Player One.
Yeah,
that book.
it's such a good one.
The book was amazing. The
Yeah.
movie, wow.
Yeah, that's how it always is.
It
Not
always is.
always, 90% of the time.
They should have made it into like a limited series.
Yes, it needed to be.
Yeah.
Things like that need to take the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 But I find it interesting to where if you were to take and get prescribed an antibiotic and you have a terrible reaction to the antibiotic, you could be like, yeah, I had a bad reaction to this antibiotic I was prescribed and it totally sucked.
Yep.
With a vaccine, you can't say that.
No.
It's like, well, why? If you can have adverse reactions to a medication and talk about it and it be totally okay, but you say anything about a vaccine, you are sent to the gulag.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
And even, before COVID, you could, but it was still hush-hush, and they'd pay you off not to say anything.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah. I love a good conspiracy
Yeah,
theory,
me
but
too.
it's not really
It's not a conspiracy theory when you have
fact.
now hundreds of thousands of people across the world having vaccine injuries.
Yes.
Massive vaccine injuries. So
yeah, my mother-in-law actually, like straight up, the doctor was like, nope, this is from the vaccine.
yeah, that's surprising. A lot won't say that, even though they know it.
Yeah.
They won't say it. But yeah, I've had a few friends get sick and not make it on a couple occasions. So
Wow.
yeah,
It's
not good.
Yeah, no, I know. I a few friends' parents.
Yeah, their parents. They're my friend's parents.
Yeah.
And then one was the woman who healed me of Lyme disease, her daughter.
Wow.
Yeah, young.
Wow. How did you treat the Lyme disease? Did you do like chelation therapy and all that?
I did all that stuff. None of it worked. So I tried everything from ozone to drips to hormone therapy to whatever. They gave me all. They thought I had MS. They thought it was lupus. They thought I had some autoimmune disease. And then they finally said I got tested for Lyme, and I had like 5 different strains of it and Epstein-Barr and all that. So I did biomagnetic therapy. Whoa. And it's like these large magnets that you lay on, and then they're from head to toe, and you're sitting in a chair laying on them. And I started that the month the country shut down, and it's in Ukaipa, so it's far out. And so I was driving every week, once a week, for $50. Between 6 and 8 months, completely cured. I do not need ozone. I do not need drips. I don't need anything.
So it just pulls the heavy metals from Lyme
It
out
pulls
of your...
yes, and it takes any kind of like pathogen or anything. It literally just pulls the nucleus out of them. They can't live. They can't.
Wow.
Kills everything, and including mold. If you have spores, if you've got any kind of bacteria, anything, whatever it is, it doesn't live in your body with that frequency on it. And she's helping people with MS, like crazy, but with another type of thing she does. It's oil and...
Well, they're thinking now, I read some study that they believe MS is a virus.
Yeah.
They're saying it's not like it's a virus that causes an autoimmune.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And I mean, the medical medium's been talking about that. And then my lady's like, no, if you just clean your system out with the viral load, it won't be detectable. And she does it all the time. Yeah. But we're probably gonna have to cut this. She's like, don't ever talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But there is 8 billion people on the planet. It's so ignorant to think that there has to only be one way to medically treat anything.
I agree.
And I just don't understand why there isn't a bit more kind of... Well, I know why there's not, but there should be a notion of my body, my right. If I want to
That's right.
If I want to drink bleach, great. My body.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And the notion that oh no, you can't do that. You can't do... It's like, Well, why?
Or they have experimental drugs that work and they're not releasing them, or they
Yeah.
know certain things work. And it's just funny how mysteriously how many doctors that have said, hey, I can help with this are now dead. Mm-hmm. They've committed suicide or they've been suicided or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, or doctors that have a differing opinion with facts to back it up
Yeah.
and with research for years to back it up. And they're called quacks and they're not allowed to go on a news program or go anywhere that has any kind of following and show their research.
Yeah.
It's like, don't you want to hear what they have to say and then you can decide? But they're saying, no, American people, you're stupid.
Yeah. We're smarter than you.
We're smarter than you. We're going to tell you that this is right and this is misinformation. But all their rightnesses in the last 4 years, there's been a lot of wrongs. Mm-hmm. A lot.
Yeah. And the notion of like, oh, well, we just didn't know, so like give us a hall pass. And I'm like,
No.
You guys fucking ruined people's lives.
Yeah.
Like families couldn't say goodbye to loved ones and
Yeah.
people were separate. It's like, no.
And
like,
then, the Fauci coming on saying, well, it was a guess. We were just guessing.
Yeah.
But that's not when you came on TV, you didn't say it was a guess.
No.
You said this is safe and effective and this mask will stop you from getting, from spreading it, which was I had him on 60 Minutes and I put him up talking about masks. Fauci, talking about masks. He's holding the mask. He goes, these things, they don't work. I have it. I still have it. They haven't been able to erase that video because I downloaded it. So I put it up. And people were like, they couldn't. It was almost like, what? It was like the wrench in the wheel. It's like, huh? Like, yes, he's been saying that they don't work. And then he switches his mind, changes his mind, and then says, no, these work. Now let's put 2 on. Oh, if you really want to be safe, let's put 3 on. And I almost think that they're taking the piss.
Yeah, they were just seeing how far they could take things.
Yeah.
Fully. I mean, you had Gavin Newsom shutting down all the schools, and COVID has, that period of time has rocked a generation of kids. Completely.
Yes. Socially,
Educational, everything.
wise, yeah.
And so he shut down all the schools in California, and he sent his kids to a school in Montana.
Yeah.
A state that was open, a state that was like, no, just let's do business.
Shut down
as
all the
usual.
restaurants, but he went dining at what was that
That
laundry?
fancy, French laundry.
French laundry, yeah.
And then declared wineries an essential business so he could keep his one
That's
open.
right. Isn't that insane?
You're just like,
So alcohol that's why the liquor stores could stay open.
Yeah.
Because he had a winery.
Yeah.
And
But don't go outside and get sunlight.
no, don't
That's
go on the beaches. He's arresting people on the beaches. Literally had people arrested.
Fucking paddleboarders with no one
Paddleboarders.
around.
Yeah.
Like, but everyone just kind of moves on with life.
How do you allow that behavior? To me, it's like, I don't understand how you can justify it.
And it goes unchecked.
It goes unchecked. He has harmed so many people,
Mm-hmm.
so many children. And you look at places like Sweden or Florida or people, they get angry. Now, this was a test because I moved to Florida during the pandemic because
You
I couldn't
did?
handle it here.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So for the most part, I spent 8 months there 1 year and then 4 months the other year. So I was over there a lot. And you would say something like give a positive, it was Oxford University, Stanford. They came out with, it's a 0.1% death rate or something crazy when they first came out. And I was like, look, guys, this is really good news. They've been studying this. People in Florida would be like, oh, this is wonderful. This is great. Like positive news. People in California would go after me like I had said something that, and you could see the difference in
Like
mentality.
gravity. It's like saying gravity's not
Yeah,
real. You're
like,
like, well,
it kills people. Yeah. I'm like, yes, it does. But it's a 0.1% rate.
yeah.
It's so small. Isn't that a good thing? And then it was like, there were certain things about transmission and all this. And I would put up good news and people from California would be angry about the good news. And people in other states would be like, that's wonderful, good, let's get through this. And it was like a totally different mentality.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah, it's very odd the divide
Yeah.
that it create. I mean, I think in 100 years from now, people are gonna look back and go like, just be so fascinated by that period of time.
Yeah.
And it's weird. I sometimes think about it. I say this to my wife. I'm like, wow, like, what the fuck did we all just experience for 3 years?
Yeah. Do you think it's going to come back?
I wouldn't be surprised if, as the election gets closer, and then I wouldn't, everyone's like, oh, it's conspiracy theory, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to,
Right,
but that would be like a, okay, well, yeah, fair game. Oh, everyone has to do the mail-in ballots and no going to the polls, all this, and I don't trust a single thing the government says or does now.
100%.
I just think it's
How
so
sad is that to be in that position where you don't trust
Yeah.
your country?
Yeah. And I don't read the news now. I don't have any news apps on my phone. If it comes to the only thing that I watch is YouTube. If something comes on my YouTube feed, I'm like,
then you see it.
Yeah.
But
I don't seek out anything in the news.
That's the same. If I'm on social media and something comes up, or somebody sends me a clip of something, or that's how I get it. I will keep up on something if I'm interviewing somebody and I read something. But I haven't turned on the news since the first year of COVID, and it made me so upset. And they're tearing the nation apart. They make their ratings on tearing the nation apart and splitting people up and dividing. I'm not going to give you my viewership, and you can see them. They're all going down the drain, big time.
Oh God, yeah. It's I mean,
nobody believes them anymore.
No, and I think secretly, all these, a lot of networks. If everyone hated Trump so much, why isn't there just an embargo against giving him a platform?
Yeah.
Like they did with RFK.
Yes.
All the news media were like, we don't like this guy, so let's not platform him in any way, shape, or form. And so they've kind of shut him out of the conversation.
Trump gets ratings.
But that's why.
Trump gets ratings, right?
Yeah, he
sells. Whether you hate him or you love him, you watch.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? So RFK, he's pretty brilliant, and he's common sense, and he does his research. Don't know if he'd make a good president, but I personally like him. I've interviewed him twice. I think he's a good man. But he's also against the agenda. And he has all of the evidence to back it up.
Yep.
And he wrote a book stating all the evidence. And if you haven't read it...
Is that the Fauci one?
Yes.
Yeah.
I got it, and I had to wait months for it because I got it on pre-sale.
Oh, wow.
And it is...
I got through like a quarter of it. It's
tough.
It's a dense book.
It's dense, it's dark, but it has all of the research.
Yeah. And
you can't really deny it, and that's why he hasn't been sued. Why hasn't he been? Because if they give him his day in court...
He's got the receipts.
Yeah. Fauci's done.
Yeah.
And the fact that, he's done. And if anybody actually wants to read it and then debate me on it and tell me, I'm in. Because it's all backed up.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that's... But then they turn around and just start throwing out, oh, well, you're a this,
you're a conspiracy theorist, you're this, you're that, you're that. No. I'm actually a realist, and there's a word for people who just a complicity theorist.
There's a term, I forget what it's called, but there's an actual coined term that if you argue with someone long enough, they will almost guaranteed to end the argument with calling you a Nazi at the end.
Yeah.
I forget there's an actual key term for it.
No, it's very true. If you can't back it up with facts, they start name calling.
Yeah.
And I've seen it happen so many times. You're a Nazi, you're a racist, you're this, you're that. It's unbelievable. I was on air. I think it was KBC, and it was during the election, and I would get on, and I'm like, tell me why you're voting for Biden without using the word Trump.
Ooh.
And most couldn't.
Bond.
Most couldn't.
Yeah.
And then when they'd say, well, you know this about Trump, I'm like, okay, well, tell me, why do you think that? Where's the evidence? Can you back? Nothing. And then they get angry.
Yeah.
Or, I don't need to talk to you. No, just give me the evidence. I'm willing to sit here and learn. I'll hear the good things about Biden. I'll hear the good things about Trump. I'll hear the bad things about Biden. I'll hear the bad things about Trump. I'm here to just be a sounding board. I want to hear what you have to say. Mm-hmm. There was no backup. They couldn't. And then I, being in radio and being in news radio, watching news be made, they'd give part of the story or part of a sentence, and I'm like, that's not okay. You can't do that to somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, the journalistic integrity is just gone.
There is none.
Yeah.
I mean, for in the big media, there is none. And it was happening, in one of my shows. and I quit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to do this. Or they'd put somebody on and not give another opinion, or not allow somebody with stating another opinion. You'd have one opinion only. That was the only opinion. And when I did get my people on to counter, oh my gosh, were they put down, were they made fun of? Mm-hmm. I'm like, wait, what is this?
Name calling, right? They just go, oh, you're just an idiot.
So I'm just like, I'm done. I quit my show.
Yeah.
Like, I'm out. I don't want to be on a one-sided show. I was on the show because there was, I hate using the term fair and balanced. It was. We would put on both sides, and not during the pandemic. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the power of these, the mainstream media now is so very polarizing.
Yeah.
And but all they're doing is, like you said earlier, ratings. They want to sell Fords, they want to sell Pfizer, they want to sell, whatever commercial you watch on a TV show.
Yeah.
Like, that's what people don't realize. It's like, hey, all TV is a giant billboard.
That's right.
It's just about selling.
It's
stuff.
about selling. And if your biggest sponsor is Big Pharma and you're going against what they're putting out, whether it's, the medications or vaccines or whatever, and you start to say something that's opposite what they're putting out, then you're in danger of losing your sponsor.
Yeah.
And losing your TV show and losing your money.
Yeah.
So why do you think it's not being said? It's a bigger agenda than that.
Well, I mean, you saw what happened to my mom.
Yeah, I did.
I mean, you want to talk about like a network just going, oh, here's a sacrificial lamb. Mm-hmm. We're gonna tick a box.
Yep.
We're gonna get a feather in our cap for creating justice in society. But
they don't. They only show that side of like, oh, look, that is the populace. That is what's going to be the most general opinion, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It's a small opinion that they are making look like everybody in the nation feels that way, and they don't.
Yeah.
They don't. I think most people supported your mom.
Yeah. No, they absolutely did.
Yeah.
But here's the scary thing. No one ever came out and
stood up
and said, actually, and not till months and months later, and she lost friendships over this like you wouldn't believe. And then it got even worse. Like, I remember she got approached by like TMZ in the street, and they were like, hey, we know what happened. Obviously it was very apparent what happened to her, and they were like, so what do you think about how a lot of these, leaders of BLM are now getting in trouble for misappropriating funds or, whatever. And my mom just turned around and said, oh, well, they should give the money back. They should be made to give the money back because that's wrong.
Yeah.
And it like reignited, and all these people came back, her friends, how could you say that? What is wrong with you? And it's like,
I mean, why are people just literally
blinders?
But here's a fact. Here's the proof. Yeah. Here are the houses. Here are the bank accounts. Here are them being taken down. Here's the
FBI investigation.
Here's the FBI investigation. What more do you need? How are you so blind to justice and truth?
Yeah.
And I mean, I've had, conspiracy theorists tell me, and red pill podcasters, like I did red pill podcast, but people are like, well, it's, if you want to look at it, if we go way outside into conspiracy theory land, let's just hypothetically go there, right?
Let's do it. Let's get the tinfoil hat.
Yeah. The agenda was to destroy the faith in America and people who they've watched on the media, and destroy all of that faith and understanding so that everything would be confusion.
Yeah.
That you couldn't tell truth from lies.
Yes.
And that was Nazi propaganda.
No, fully.
So they're saying, oh well, they're applying that to America.
Yeah.
Which is a scary thought.
Yeah.
Conspiracy. That's the conspiracy world. Whether or not that's true, it feels like it.
It certainly does. And now you're seeing it kind of you're seeing a lot of the same tactics with what's going on with Free Palestine now and all that, like the shuffling of they're like, okay, well, let's do a similar thing here. And I don't know if it's the same people running it or whatever.
Oh, it is. Come on.
Yeah. But
Who's pulling the strings?
Yeah.
I mean, I when Biden ran, I mean, I've been in doing anti-elder abuse legislation for over 10 years. I have helped people with their loved ones who have massive dementia. My father had Lewy body dementia. My uncle died of Alzheimer's. My grandfather died of Alzheimer's. I've been around it a lot. And when I watched Biden, I could see some form of, it seemed like dementia.
Yeah.
And I just made an opinion. And how do you know? Are you a doctor? You don't have to be a doctor to see things that are obvious. And then I put up a video, a few minutes long, of him really just forgetting things. And like, this is not somebody who
is tired.
Yeah, he's not tired. He doesn't have a speech. All the lies that they came in. Yeah. And, you know, if you want to look at his record and saying things that were racist and voting for things that were, you know.
You would like, let's compare like apples to apples with who's done the most racist shit, Trump or Biden.
He's actually hung with the, you know, leaders of, you know, the KKK and I mean, like what the guys who've been
didn't he vote on some?
He did on schools that to keep segregation. He voted for segregation, and this is facts. Yet his opponents are racist, which I don't understand. I just mentioned that he seemed like he had some cognitive dysfunction, and you know, I got a lot of support. And then you got a lot of people who just can't see it. Yeah. Once again, they can't. It's a fact. I'm playing this video for you. He can't remember his wife's name. He can't remember, you know, half the things he's saying in the sentence. He's unable to process certain things. And then,
you know, ultimately, I think the biggest where I go, oh, this is total bullshit, is okay. His son, Hunter Biden, a recovering drug addict, literally is the snapshot of, oh, this is someone who he is hundreds of millions of Americans right now. You would think that if the president's son had the history with drug and alcohol abuse that he's had, and we've got the opioid epidemic, you would think that they might go, you know what, maybe we should put a bit of effort into figuring this out and like coming up with some kind of solution. Yeah. They didn't do shit. No, and that's why I was like, this is fucking bullshit. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You got tens of thousands of people a year dying in the streets from fentanyl. Yeah. And the president's son is a recovering addict himself, and they've done nothing.
Zero.
Yeah.
Zero. And they're giving money. And I'm all for helping other countries. I'm all for helping people. That's what I do. I do, you know, a lot of my work with elder abuse and disaster relief is I'm helping people. Yeah. It feels good when you help somebody. I love it. I like it. But I don't understand how we have a nation that's suffering from homelessness, from drug addiction, from this, but we're helping every other country. Yes. Like we have people in Hawaii whose homes have burned to the ground, and we're giving them pennies on the dollar.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you know, Ukraine gets, you know, another $50 billion.
Millions of billions of dollars. Yeah. And
aren't we paying the Social Security in Ukraine right now or something like that? We're paying
pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and it's like, what about I get it, let's help, but what about helping our country? What happened to that? Yeah. I mean, you can see I used to live in a really beautiful area, and not so much anymore.
I mean, the amount of times that I drive around my kids in the car, I'm like, hey guys, don't look out the window. Yeah. Because there's someone who is sick in the street, naked. Doing something crazy, you know, and it's terrible. Yeah. But yeah, here we are, you know.
And these people need help. Like there was somebody who ran on a Republican platform in California, so that was surely not going to make it or win, but he came on my show and he had a great idea, and this was many, many years ago, 5-6 years ago. And he said, we have these empty military bases all over. Why don't we take these military bases and house people? Mm-hmm. People that, and then it's so big, you can have sections, people that are really, really needing like severe mental help, right? And then you have people that might, you know, just need to get off the drugs, or families that just need to recover from whatever it is, or, you know, teaching people giving them job education so they can go out and get jobs, or, you know, and they're cities. These are cities. There's all these barracks that we have that they're not being used.
Well, San Antonio did that. Do you know about this?
No.
I I might be wrong, but I believe it was San Antonio. The mayor came in and was like, "Hey, we're gonna open a facility for homelessness," and it was they took over this complex, and there was pharmacy, grocery store, doctors. Like it was like a mini city in a building, and their whole point was to rehabilitate, re-educate, get people in the work. Teach them a trade so they could go into the workforce. Like give them all the tools to succeed. And they utilized it, and it supposedly worked. And
why? Where is that here?
Yeah,
we desperately need that.
Yeah.
We don't need to give clean needles. No. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, that's the solution.
Let's give you clean needles and methadone. Let's give you drugs. Mm-hmm. Here's like the EBT cards. Now you can go buy alcohol and junk food. And now, no, let's help these people. Yeah. Let's not make it worse. So anyway,
we could solve all the world's problems right here from this little podcast.
See, like when people think outside the box, which is so weird to me, it's common sense. Yeah. It's like you don't see that anymore. You see super right, super left.
Because it's easy.
It's easy. And it's ratings, right? Yeah. Instead of, hey, here's the common sense. Let's put people on. I'm an independent, right? So let's put people on from both sides. Yeah. Let's hear them out. Oh, what a novel idea.
Sure.
That used to happen. It doesn't anymore.
No, it doesn't. And I'm right there with you. Like I'm neither Republican, Democrat. Like I actually don't think there's very few politicians that I actually go, oh, yes, you.
Right.
But I think that especially in Hollywood, especially in the entertainment industry, as I just said, it's so easy to just fall in line and say what everyone else is saying.
Yeah, let's parrot.
There's no truly fucking unique individuals in the industry because everyone's terrified.
Yeah.
Because you speak out, you lose your job.
You lose your job, which is, that's communism. Sorry, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you speak, and that's what's happening. Yeah. To our beautiful country.
Right.
Let's end it on that. No, I'm kidding. Great note to end on. Oh, my Lord. So what's next? What's next for you?
So just doing a ton for Osbourne Media House. We have like a subscription site at osbornemediahouse.com, and with that you get the original Osbourne series. Like every week we're releasing the old episodes, and then we do a watch party show where we rewatch the old episodes of the Osbournes and talk about it, and because we haven't seen it in 20-something years.
That's awesome.
So we've been doing, and that's called the Basement Tapes, and that's available on there as well. And so just kind of putting a lot of energy into that and keeping that thing kind of growing and giving fans kind of what they want. I had the realization probably about a year and a half ago that we as a family, we're giving ourselves to all these networks that we don't really, they give you a paycheck.
Portion.
Yeah, you get a paycheck. I was like, there's no, we're having to rely on someone else to engage with our fans, but we have such a huge fan base individually and together. Like, why aren't we engaging them directly ourselves with our own stuff? And so, that's kind of the mission here.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you seem like you're the one leading the way. And
trying to. It's a lot of herding cats here, but it's
family.
Yeah, yes, it is. It's never easy.
All right. Well, big hugs to your family.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
you too.
Great to see you.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Minnie, for hanging out.
Yeah, Minnie was a trooper. High five, Minnie.
So cute. High five.
She's like, all right, I'm done here.
Okay.